The distress beacon had been transmitting for 17 cycles now. Commander Vex of the Krellin merchant vessel. Star Whisper counted each one as it passed, watching his crew grow weaker with every rotation of the ship's dying chronometer. The life support systems were failing. The air grew thinner. The cold pressed in from all sides. His second officer, Tarn, slumped against the navigation console. The young Krellin's blue scales had turned pale gray, a sure sign of oxygen deprivation. Around the bridge, 5 other crew members lay in various states of consciousness, their breathing shallow and labored. "No one is coming," Tarn whispered. Her voice barely carried across the silent bridge. "The Galactic Council received our coordinates. They know we're here." Vex didn't respond. He knew she was right. Their cargo manifest showed only basic trade goods and agricultural supplies, nothing worth the fuel cost of a rescue mission to this remote sector. The mathematics of survival in space were simple and cruel. If you weren't valuable enough to save, you died alone in the dark. The Krellin had learned this lesson many times throughout their history. As a minor species in the Galactic Council, they held no military power, no unique technology, no resources that couldn't be found elsewhere. They were merchants and traders, nothing more. Expendable. "Commander?" The communications officer, Rock, raised his head weakly. "I'm detecting something on long-range sensors." "Debris?" Vex asked without hope. "No, sir. It's a ship. Moving fast. Very fast." Vex pulled himself to the sensor station, his movements slow and deliberate to conserve oxygen. The reading made no sense. The vessel was approaching at speeds that should have been impossible without military-grade engines. But the signature was all wrong. This wasn't a Council military vessel or even a corporate rescue ship. "What species?" he asked. Rock studied the readings, his 4 eyes blinking in confusion. "Unknown, sir. The configuration doesn't match any registered designs in our database. Wait, I'm picking up a transmission." The bridge speakers crackled to life. The voice that came through spoke in accented galactic standard. The words formed strangely, but understandable. "Merchant vessel Star Whisper, this is Captain James Walker of the Earth ship Persistence. We received your distress signal. Hold on. We're coming to get you." Silence filled the bridge. Earth. Humans. The newest species to achieve faster-than-light travel, having joined the galactic community only 30 rotations ago. They were considered primitive by Council standards, their technology cobbled together from borrowed knowledge and dangerous experimentation. Most species avoided them. "Captain Walker," Vex responded, his voice hoarse. "This is Commander Vex. Our life support has failed. We have perhaps 2 hours of air remaining. I must inform you that we carry no valuable cargo. The Council has already declined rescue operations." There was a pause. Then the human's voice returned, carrying an edge of something Vex couldn't identify. "Commander, I don't give a damn what the Council decided. We're 3 hours out at maximum burn. Can you hold on that long?" "Captain Walker, you don't understand. We cannot pay for rescue. My species has no alliance with Earth. There is no profit in this for you." This time the pause was longer. When Walker spoke again, his voice was harder. "Commander Vex, I need you to listen very carefully. We're coming for you. Not because of profit. Not because of alliances. We're coming because you called for help and we heard you. That's all the reason we need. Now stop wasting oxygen arguing with me and prepare your crew for emergency docking." The transmission ended. Vex stared at the communications panel, unable to process what he'd heard. Around him, his crew began to stir, hope flickering in their dimming eyes. "Commander," Tarn pulled herself upright. "Why would they risk themselves for us?" Vex had no answer. In 300 rotations of space travel, he had never encountered a species that would expend resources without guarantee of return. It went against every principle of survival the galaxy operated on. The next 3 hours passed in a desperate struggle to stay conscious. Vex ordered all remaining power diverted to a single compartment, gathering his crew together to share the last of their air. They huddled in the dark, listening to the labored breathing of their companions, waiting. Then the ship shuddered. A loud clang echoed through the hull, followed by the distinctive hiss of an airlock seal. The emergency hatch burst open and figures in bulky environmental suits rushed in. The lead figure's helmet was transparent, revealing a human face marked by scars and determination. "Medical team, move in." The human, presumably Captain Walker, barked into his communicator. "Get everyone on oxygen immediately." More humans flooded the compartment carrying equipment and medical supplies. They moved with practiced efficiency, pressing oxygen masks to scaled faces, checking vital signs, lifting the weakest crew members onto portable stretchers. "You came," Vex whispered as Walker knelt beside him. "Of course we came," Walker replied, his hands steady as he secured an oxygen mask over Vex's snout. "Nobody dies alone on our watch." The rescue took less than an hour. The humans transferred all 7 Krellin crew members to their ship, a vessel that looked like it had been assembled from parts of a dozen different designs. The medical bay was small but well equipped, and the human medical officer, a woman named Dr. Peters, worked tirelessly to treat each crew member. "Your physiology is fascinating," she told Vex as she administered a breathing treatment, similar to Earth reptiles but with some remarkable adaptations. "Your scales actually process oxygen, incredible." "Doctor," Vex said carefully, "I must ask again about payment. My government will not reimburse you for this rescue." Peters looked at him with an expression he couldn't read. "Captain Walker told me you kept asking about that. Let me ask you something, Commander. If you saw someone drowning, would you check their credit balance before throwing them a rope? But this is space. Resources are limited. The fuel alone for your deviation must have cost—" "Commander," Captain Walker entered the medical bay. "Your ship's emergency beacon is still transmitting. Should we destroy it to prevent scavengers?" "The Star Whisper is worthless now," Vex replied. "Let them have it." Walker shook his head. "Your ship's computer core contains your trade routes, contacts, and private communications. Would you like us to retrieve it?" Vex's scales shifted to a deeper blue, a sign of distress. "I cannot ask you to expend more resources for us." Walker sat on the edge of the medical bed. Up close, Vex could see the human was younger than he'd expected, perhaps 40 rotations by their counting. His eyes held a weight that seemed older. "Commander, let me tell you something about humans. We're new to space, that's true. Our ships are ugly. Our technology is backwards by galactic standards, and half the council thinks we're going to blow ourselves up within a century. But we brought something with us from Earth that seems to be in short supply out here." "What's that?" "The understanding that sometimes the right thing to do is also the expensive thing to do. And that's okay. Because today it's you drifting in the dark. Tomorrow it might be us. And when that day comes, I'd like to think someone will answer our call. Not because it's profitable, but because it's right." Walker stood. "I'll have a team retrieve your computer core. You rest now." After he left, Vex lay in the medical bed struggling to understand. The humans gained nothing from this rescue. They would likely face ridicule from other species for wasting resources on 7 insignificant Krellin traders. Yet they had come anyway, burning hard across empty space because someone had called for help. Over the next few days, as the Persistence carried them toward the nearest station, Vex observed the human crew. They were a mix of backgrounds and personalities, some serious, some given to laughter. They shared their food with the Krellin, taught them card games, and treated them not as refugees but as guests. "Why do you do this?" Vex finally asked Walker on the last day. "Travel space looking for distress calls?" Walker was silent for a moment, staring out at the stars through the bridge viewport. "My grandfather was on a fishing vessel that sank off the coast of Alaska. In water that cold, you have minutes before hypothermia kills you. Another boat, a competitor, actually heard their mayday. They could have ignored it, let the competition literally disappear. Instead they came, pulled every man from the water. Lost a day's catch doing it." He turned to face Vex. "My grandfather lived another 40 years because someone decided that profit wasn't the most important thing in the universe. Humans might be new to space, Commander, but we've been pulling each other out of the dark for thousands of years. We're not about to stop now just because the dark got bigger." When they reached the station, the Persistence crew helped the Krellin arrange transport back to their homeworld. They transferred the salvaged computer core, provided supplies, and even gave them a small amount of credits for immediate needs. "This is too much," Vex protested. "It's really not," Walker replied. "But if it makes you feel better, consider it an investment." "In what?" "In the future. Someday, somewhere, you'll hear a distress call. Maybe it'll be from a species everyone else thinks isn't worth saving. When that happens, remember this moment. Remember that somebody thought you were worth saving, and then you pass it on." As the Persistence departed, Vex stood at the station's observation window, watching the ungainly human ship disappear into the void.